We tell ourselves, once I get that title, I'll be happy. Once I hit that revenue goal, I'll be at peace. Once I can pay my rent this month and not worry about the next, I'll be happy. We've been conditioned to believe that if we just reach the summit, we will finally be happy, respected, and fulfilled. But what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the applause only lasts 30 seconds? If you've ever felt this chilling void, you are simply experiencing one of the most misunderstood psychological phenomena of high achievement. Let's explore a deeply pervasive psychological trap known as the arrival fallacy, the chronic dissatisfaction felt after reaching a major goal. My name is Aubrey Lynch, and I'm a former professional dancer, Disney executive, and wellness director. And I help high achievers apply my 40 years of experience to conquer self-doubt and reclaim their inner authority. Later in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 practical actionable tools to help you rewire your brain for intrinsic validation. Because walking with lions means understanding that true fulfillment cannot be handed to us by an audience. Welcome to Season 6 of Roar. Let's dive into the arrival fallacy. This term is popularized by Harvard-trained positive psychology expert Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. It describes the illusion that once we make it, once we attain our goal or reach our destination, we will reach lasting happiness. Neurologically, our brains are wired for the pursuit of the goal, not the attainment of it. The dopamine spikes when we are striving, planning, anticipating, and struggling towards the finish line. That is the biological reward system that kept our ancestors moving. The moment we actually cross the finish line, that neurological high drops off a cliff. We are left with the psychological crash that happens after a big win. I know this hollow silence intimately. As I was working with Disney and I opened 14 productions of The Lion King, that meant 14 opening nights. And after the opening night, you pack your bags and get on a plane and come home. And I cannot tell you the high of the production, having been auditions and casting and rehearsals and production and getting it all right over the period of many, many months, sometimes years. And the curtain goes up and the audience stands and they cheer and you have this incredible piece in front of you with people that you love and have worked with and become lifelong friends with. And then you go back to your hotel room and you're left with your luggage. It is such an emptiness. And I say, how dare I feel sad and empty when I just opened The Lion King in Paris or Tokyo or Melbourne or Sydney? How dare I have any reaction other than euphoria and completeness? This effect, this neurological effect is real. I felt it every single time. And in fact, every time I have a big event, I feel it afterwards. I feel good, of course, that I achieved something. There is some fulfillment in that, but it's not enough to sustain you for this neurological drop. I went through that so many times that I was ready for it every time. Thankfully, I realized that my worth was not dependent on the high of those opening nights. That was just my job. That's what I did. It was fun and thrilling and also sometimes very, very depressing. And my consciousness, my awareness, my reflection, from reflection, optimism, authenticity, and resilience, prepare me for the ups and downs of that Disney job. And that's what we're doing here. To be aware that that crash you may feel is a natural, normal part of your life. If you're in leadership, you have to know that you can't inspire anyone, at least if yourself, if your internal battery only charges if someone else plugs you in. If your identity is intertwined with external applause, if you are relying on the review, the promotion, the awards, or the accolades, the social media likes to validate your existence, you will constantly feel the need to prove your worth. The arrival fallacy steals your joy because it forces you to trade the reality of the present moment for the illusion of a future that never truly arrives. In a dance studio, there is no audience, there is no critics, there is only the mirror, the floor, and the sweat. The reward is the mastery of the movement itself. If you want to survive the silence after the standing ovation, you must learn to find the applause in the work itself. That applause when you're performing is very addictive. I love to perform. Thankfully for me and for most dancers, the true joy comes in the effort and the daily work towards an ideal of perfection that you know you're never going to ever hit. It's the competition with the self, that what you see in the mirror is what I see, what I feel. The work, the intrinsic joy built into the work that matters the most. And I want that for you in whatever life you're living. How do I actually detach my worth from my achievements? How do we walk with a lion of chronic dissatisfaction? How do you break free from the arrival fallacy and start fueling yourself from the inside out? 3 tangible behaviors to help you master intrinsic validation. The process prize. We are obsessed with outcome-based goals. Closing the deal, getting the promotion, booking the role, getting a good grade. But outcomes are often controlled by other people, market forces, or plain old shenanigans. Set a goal for the week that is 100% within your control. I'll be present in every meeting, rather than an outcome-based goal. I'll close the deal. When you reward yourself for process and your integrity, you guarantee your own standing ovation regardless of what the external world decides to do. I've worked with young dancers for decades, and they're really obsessed with the name of the level they're in, when in fact, what matters is, can you dance? Doesn't matter what the level's called. If you can do the step, eventually you're going to reach your full potential. Doesn't matter what the name of the class is. I was the same way. If your worth is attached to the level, the name, the promotion, the title, where does that put you? If your worth is based on the effort it takes to achieve that goal while you're in the process of achieving, that's a much more rewarding life. Mirror work. High achievers are notorious for waking up and immediately checking their phones for emails, likes, or messages to validate their existence. We look outward before we look inward. Break the habit. Before checking your phone or emails for validation, look in the mirror and acknowledge one specific small win from the day before that only you know about. Did you handle a difficult conversation with grace? Did you hold a boundary? Did you practice self-care? Acknowledge it aloud. You must become your own champion, your own cheerleader, your own dedicated audience. I do that with these videos. I'm not getting millions of likes and subscribes, but I still make them because I'm doing them because it's intrinsically fun for me. I get intrinsic joy from the creation of them. Once they're posted, I actually go back and watch them because I want to remind myself of the messages, but I'm not married to the reaction they're getting. I would love to have people watch these videos, and if you're still watching right now, you have no idea how happy that makes me. And I know that it's the creation of them that I enjoy the most. Disrupt when-then thinking. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar teaches that the root of the arrival fallacy is projecting your contentment into the future. We say, when I get that title, then I'll be happy. When I move to that city, then I'll find peace. This robs you of your current life. Catch yourself the moment you use when-then or if-then logic. Immediately disrupt it by asking yourself, what brings me peace, freedom, or joy right now in this exact moment? Force your brain to identify one present tense reality you're grateful for. You stop holding your own happiness hostage until you become this perfect future version of yourself. I do this every day. When I have those crazy thoughts, those negative voices, I stop and look around and immediately find something that I'm grateful for in that moment. I think, what's bringing me peace, joy, and freedom right now? And I always find something because it's always there. Take your power back. Find the applause in the work itself. And it takes practice. In our next episode, we're going to explore the ghost light, navigating creative loneliness. It gets very lonely being creative. I know this, making these videos. It's very, very solitude-ish. I'm not going to say what lonely, but it's definitely I'm alone when I'm doing it. We're going to talk about that. Please hit the like and subscribe button. One planet, one tribe, one world, one love. I'll see you there.